The disaster curses are some of the strongest beings in Jujutsu Kaisen based on universal primal fears: water, fire, earth, humanity. But what would be the most powerful disaster curse? Let's talk about it. All right, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Seth and TRB and OSF who all sent in comments related to this same question today, because recently we have been talking about some hypothetical curses. So first and foremost, OSF asked me what I thought a curse manifesting from the negative emotions surrounding the Holocaust would be. And then also TRB asked me what do I think the most powerful fear or negative emotion a curse could be formed by. And my answer to both of these questions is honestly the same thing, and that is just Mahito. Because honestly, for the Holocaust, I think we can boil that down to the fears and negative emotions that humanity possesses, right? And on some level, you could boil that down from a lot of things, right? But I think that's why Mahito is just so powerful, which is why he's also my answer for what is the strongest. And I think it is the fear of humanity, the fear that we inflict upon each other, the horrendous things like the Holocaust that we are capable of, right? So I think that's why Mahito is able to not only manipulate the soul and thus transform into infinite number of things, it's because our cruelties are innumerable. So I really don't mean for this to be a cop-out, but I do think the answer to that would just be Mahito. However, I do think there's a case to be made that a disaster curse of death could give Mahito a run for his money, because that is a fear that all things have. It just might not be as prominent, right? You have much more reason to fear the evils of humanity on a day-to-day basis than you do death, right? Most people aren't actively fearing death that often, but it is very much a universal and primal fear that, occurs amongst virtually all species on the planet, right? So if an entity like this existed, coalescing from millennia worth of accumulated fear, then it would certainly be a force to be reckoned with. And my mind just goes to like a lich-like entity, not necessarily the one from Adventure Time, but just in general, that's kind of a good vibe for a spirit like this. I think it would represent just decay and inevitability, right? And in terms of its curse technique per se, I think it would be just decay, the unraveling of all things, the inevitable conclusion to everything, right? There would really be no escaping this, just like there is no escaping actual death. You would have to run from this for as long as you can, because any meeting with it would be finality.